Every year's been a little bit bigger and a little bit better and a little bit more money. I know you bumped the purse up significantly this year. The prize money, $300,000 to our winner, Samson Dauda, who we had on earlier. But let me just go back for just a second. You had dabbled into acting at that point. I actually, in my collection, I actually have an original Hercules in New York poster. But it doesn't say Arnold Schwarzenegger on it. It says Arnold Strong.
Well, because in those days, in my early days, they still were into this whole thing of changing your name. You know, so none of those actors like John Wayne and those guys, these are their real names, right? And so they said, well, we call you Arnold Strong. That sounds great to us. And there wasn't much choice. Plus, I wanted to get into the movie business. I said to myself, well, I can do whatever you want with my name. I finally have, you know, fulfilled my dream to get into a movie, and I was doing Hercules in New York. It didn't matter to me that it went in the toilet and that no one saw it, and it didn't really open up until later on. It became very popular. But the bottom line was I did this movie and I had a great time. I got paid, and I got this was the beginning of getting also my working permit. It was a temporary working permit, so that was important to get the permanent working permit in America as an immigrant and all of this. So I was very happy with that success. And then, of course, later on, my kids always had a great time when they discovered it on the networks, and they put it on and said, Daddy, can you watch this movie with us, Hercules in New York? I said, no, you watch this by yourself. I cannot watch this. It's a little bit too much for me.
That name didn't stick around. I mean, as far as I know, you can correct me. That's the only one I remember where they used Arnold Strong. Who and when was the decision made to use your regular name, Schwarzenegger?
It was Bob Rafelson. Bob Rafelson directed Stay Hungry. And he said, look, I think that eventually this is going to become in, where people are going to keep the regular name and the long European or South American names or Latin names. And I'm not worried about it. First of all, you're not the lead. Jeff Bridges is the lead and Sally Fields. And you're the third lead. So he says, I don't have any worry with that at all. I says, let's just do it. And so he was the first one to then change it. And I remember also Lucille Ball, when I did in 1974, the TV series show called Happy Anniversary and Goodbye with Art Carney and Lucille Ball, when I had this kind of 7-minute scene where I played her masseur. Yeah, and so that they also then gave me credit as Arnold Schwarzenegger, not as Arnold Strong. So I think for a few years we used that name Arnold Strong. I even used it in my mail order business, and to kind of connect the dots there. But I mean, eventually we went back to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you know, there was like, it was one of those things, when I got into the business in the first place, the Hollywood business, the thing that they said on the beginning was that it would never work, right? They said, look, you're too big to be a Hollywood star. I mean, it's, you know, Hercules movies are over. This was 10 years ago. Now there's the new guys like Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino and Woody Allen. There's the old guys that weigh 150 pounds, and the little guys that are the big heroes now, and the big kind of celebrities and stars. And so, as you know, then your accent would never work. And also your name, no one will be able to pronounce your name. So, of course, it was very important for me to prove that all of those three things can actually be an asset and not a liability. So when I then came out with Conan, you know, John Milius, the director, said, if we wouldn't have had Arnold, we would have had to build a Conan. So there he was saying basically, he was the only one that could play it because he had this body. So therefore the body became a big asset. What they said would be a total liability. So then it was the accent when Jim Cameron said, hey, I think what worked on Terminator was that Arnold actually talks like a machine. You know, I mean, with the German accent, he was the only one that talked differently, so it was totally believable, and that's what made the movie. So again, here we are, that the accent that they said would be a big obstacle became a big plus. And then later on, it was kind of the big change where people said it was in to keep your long name and to keep your complicated name that's maybe hard to pronounce. That was the new thing in Hollywood. So all of the things changed because I did not listen To the naysayers, I stayed in and I kept grinding away and working my way slowly up. And I felt like I can accomplish the same thing in show business as I did in bodybuilding. So it was just all about not listening to the naysayers that always say, this is impossible, this can't be done, no one has done it, and all this kind of crap. I just stayed focused and said, I'm gonna do it.